The humble pallet. We've all got one, or you can find one, tucked up behind some bin somewhere. These things are literally everywhere you go. But what if I told you there was an easy way to make the humble pallet board into some fine looking furniture, using nothing other than something you learnt at school and 2 cuts. Now, those 2 simple cuts are quite simply just 2 30-degree angled cuts on your miter saw. Now, if I've made this sound rather simple, I've got to be honest with you, it is a little bit more complicated. You've got dozens of these cuts to make, and that thing you learnt at school, it's quite simply maths. 3 30-degree cuts equals 90, and what does that create? An optical illusion. So stick with me, and you'll see exactly how I'm going to make a 3D illusion out of a pallet. Now for this project, you're going to need some different shades of wood. Now you can either get lucky in one pallet, or you can get a couple of different pallets to help you. Now there's one thing you're going to find with my content, is that I don't waste your time. We all know how to break down a pallet. You just take whatever tools that you've got and break that thing down. Doesn't have to be pretty. All you need is some usable timber at the end, in whatever way that you can. Once I've busted this pallet to pieces, I like to clamp the ends together and then I can buzz things through the planer. This helps keep everything straight and square. Make sure I get a consistent finish each and every time. And we've got a bit of a jig set up here. What that's going to do is give us a 30-degree cut, which on this saw has a positive stop. And as we slide it in, that should cut nicely every time. Now the trick to getting this to work is to make sure that your length and your width are exactly the same, otherwise it doesn't fit. Now I love a jig. It's not just for this project either. The amount of repeatable cuts that you can get. Now whether it be a diamond like this or a straight edge jig like the jig behind me, the benefit is unreal and the time saving is what really makes a difference. Right, that's all of the boards cut down. There's a little bit of tear out on a lot of them, so it's on to sanding. Now, there's a bit of a cheat to this. A 0 clearance fence and an 80-tooth miter saw blade don't half cut down on that sanding. So, I've gone for a loose fit. First of all, just to make sure I've got enough pieces, but 2 to see how it goes together. If you can see, I've got 3 different shades of wood. I've made sure all 3 grain patterns are going in different directions. And the effect, when you start to look at it, it's pretty damn good. Now this is where your scraps bin really comes into its own for me. Hidden in the middle of this is an old piece of sheet material. It's destined to do nothing else but to provide some support to a project like this one. Let's face it, lots of end-to-end gluing isn't going to provide the structural integrity that we need. So without something to reinforce it, this project's destined to do nothing more than end up on a bonfire. As you can see, this board is too wide for my miter saw. So my top tip here is to flip it over mid-cut and continue from the other side. Now before we get on to putting the pieces down themselves, I'm going to make the border now. I'm hoping I can do this so it will help hold the pieces in place. A couple of clamps should keep this nice and tight. I don't think you'll quite see that in any woodworking textbooks, but it's got some tension on it, which is better than nothing. It was at this point that I went on to make one of the biggest mistakes of this build. Because I have no patience, I crack straight on and try to glue it all up in one go. I can't even describe to you the time pressure this put me under. Now that we're all glued up, I'm really impressed with how this has come out. I'm really pleased with it. It needed a little bit of sanding just to make sure everything's level. I added a little bit of filler where needed and wiped away the excess before leaving it to dry. I've trimmed down the ends, stuck a small round over on it, and then got to sanding through the grits. Now for me, I think that pallet wood and hairpin legs are a classic combination. They complement each other well, just like salt and pepper, gin and tonic, strawberries and cream. But enough about the food. To put these legs on, I'm simply going to screw them into place. Now before I add the finish and I show you how this thing really turned out, I want to ask you, what's your favourite 3D design in a coffee table or a chopping board? I want something to get my teeth stuck into next and I need some ideas. So drop me a message in the comments below and let me know what your favourite is and what you think I should do next. Failing that, let's have a look at how this thing turned out. We're moving on to finishing now, and because I'm so pleased with how it's come out, I'm going to use some Odie's oil on this to really enhance the 3D effect. This stuff's amazing, lovely and thick until you give it a good stir, and it smells truly amazing. Drizzle a little bit on a stick and buff it in, leave for a short time and buff it back out again. I'm really pleased with the sheen that's come up on this. And there we go, a fully functioning coffee table. Not usual run-of-the-mill, other than a couple of bits where I should have selected a bit better wood. You can't tell this is pallet wood. Absolutely amazed at how this come out. It's going to take pride of place in my living room. So, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, consider hitting that like button for me. It helps push my video that little bit further on YouTube, and that makes me really happy. If you want to make me ecstatic, hit that subscribe button and you can watch every video that I publish in the future. So as always, I'd like to say thank you for watching. I'm Ross, this is Woodworking, and I hope to see you on the next build video.